welcome back to A City Planner Plays City Builders, where we are building the city of Verde Beach. And if you watched the previous episode, you might be a little confused about where some of the changes that we made were. Well, this is a B episode, and B episodes are where I do things like repair mistakes that I've made, or attack things that are kind of a little bit off the beaten path. So today, I wanted to take a look at episode 5, because in the comments and on my Discord server, some of the community mentioned that I had a problem with this Cloverleaf that I over-engineered a solution for. And after taking a look at this Cloverleaf, there is a problem that's causing congestion. This stop sign. Now there's a very simple reason why this stop sign is there, and let's take a look. So first of all, you see Main Street along this highway, and it's going all the way up until we get to Cook Highway. Well, let's take a look at where Main Street goes. Okay, well it stops there for now, but if we look here, Main Street is the highway. So at some point, Main Street was connected all the way around here. I made it a priority road, and as a result, stop signs were added to any of the junctions. So there's actually another stop sign here that I didn't notice, and it wasn't causing problems because the traffic flow isn't as heavy here. So this is something that leads me to really question the decision that I made, because remedying this problem is as simple as eliminating these stop signs, not adding a signalized. Whoops. Yeah, let's just eliminate that stop sign. And now let's take a look at what this looks like. Look at that traffic flowing. I'm disappointed in myself. That said, it's okay because I've wanted to do one of these B episodes anyway. But before I continue talking, let's move over to episode 6 where we left off. Okay, so now we're back to present day and back to the intersection that Symmetry hates. So we are going to eliminate this. I don't want to have this here for no apparent reason. It's ugly, it will break, and the Cloverleaf will probably function better. So, if we're going to eliminate this, I do want to at least make it interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is, again, set up some service roads. Actually, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be too intrusive. I would love to go back to the future, but the reality is someone's getting fired for this mistake, and honestly, it's probably the city planner. So we'll just try to forget that this whole situation happened, and I will pretend that I'm the new city planner who is not going to make this sort of mistake. Reasonably, this probably would have been caught. So this is just one of the default options here. Hopefully I can just add it back in without too much hassle and forget this whole situation ever occurred. Okay, so now we've returned to the past. Let's just make sure we don't have any craziness, although we shouldn't because I created that. So we should be good here. Let's take a look at traffic flow. Everything is fine. All right, so with that, what else are we gonna do here? Why else would I have this particular episode? Well, there's a few things. Number one, I've been neglecting roads, and in a city, a roadway naming rather, and in a city where I've said that that is a priority of mine, I want to not let that slip for too long. So you guys have given me a number of great suggestions for roadway names, and I'm going to incorporate some of those right now. And once I'm done with that, I am going to go ahead and do a little bit of landscaping to give this area a little bit more life. So a lot of this is going to be time-lapsed, but I think, I think that this is probably appropriate for this kind of build, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So I'm going to start out in the forestry district and name some of the roads here. Okay, so I think I have most of the wood. Oh, one more. I have another brown way in here. Okay, so I think I have most of the roads in this area fixed. Now I'm going to move into some of the neighborhoods. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so I think we're good in this area. Let's keep looking. So what I've done basically is gone down and continued my naming. The only so this is C. This would be D. However, it's Remembrance. This is 7th, or it would be E. So I moved E to Edwards and then continued the lettering. Oh, actually, we have Evans over here. And I might give this one, I'll give that one an H name, even though we already have our H name over here at Harris. So, alright, so we're continuing our naming conventions. I saw there was a problem with Blake Street. It ends at Glade. So let's fix that. And I think we're mostly good besides that. Actually, we have another. So one of the things I haven't figured out in the naming conventions is we have alley or kind of half streets in some of these blocks. We have 1st Street and 2nd Street. Now there's Holmes. Doesn't really fit in there. I'm not sure what to do with this just yet. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Now over here, again, we have another one of these half streets. We have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, Semper Verde, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and this should probably be 12th. But our north-south streets are probably going to be the bigger problems, although I do see some problems with the roads we just created. Okay. Let's take a look at our streets here. We're doing the exact same thing. A, B, C, D, E. So I think we're good there. So I'm going to call this Tram Street. In some roadway naming ordinances, this would be considered arbitrary, and it would be against the conventions. But I'm writing the conventions here, and I think that's swell. So we're just going to leave it. We also don't have a name for this street over here. You know, I'm not 100% sure what I want to name this just yet. So if you have any ideas, I am open to them. So I think we need both a Finch Street name and an Umber Avenue name. So please let me know of those. Something else that someone mentioned is that I'm not appropriately naming the interstates. So east-west interstates should have even numbers, and if it's terminating in a city, it would be a 3-digit number. So I'm going to actually change this to Interstate 100 to remedy that, and that should solve the issues here. Okay, and we also need a Myrtle Avenue. This is going to be, I'm going to use this as a highway. It's going to have fences along the sides of it. So I need a name for that. I'm not 100% sure what that will be just yet. If you have any ideas there, let me know. Next, I want to look at some of our neighborhoods. Now, this is an interesting problem that I've been having. You see, I'm missing a bunch of neighborhood names. Now, I think I can get those back by adding a space to the old industrial district. Not ideal, but it works. So, there were some different names that were mentioned for over here. So, one that I really like over here is, let's do Founder Shores. Okay, so I still do need a few more names for districts, but I think that I've incorporated some that I was able to find in the comments. If you have any more, please let me know. I'd love to add more. Summit District, Sterling Park, Prospect Heights, those need to be named still, and I would look for any feedback that you guys have. And now I want to round this mini episode out by doing a little bit of detailing. There are some blank places that are a little bit ugly, and I think we could do a little bit better. So I'm going to add some landscaping. I'm going to also add landscaping in between the homes. And one of the things I'm going to do here is, instead of just plopping down a whole bunch of palm trees, which is kind of what you see over here in the park, I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to do some deciduous and evergreen landscaping. I think it's good to have a little bit of variety. It's the spice of life, and we're going to embrace that. So here goes. Just noticed that we're missing a segment of trail, so I'm going to make that connection now too. Okay, so I think that's about as much as I'm going to do for today. I'm not a landscape architect, but I do know that city planners generally enforce a landscape code. I know it's something I do on a project by project basis, and I require by ordinance anyway. I follow the ordinance, which requires a certain amount of landscaping, not just for beautification but for buffering. So you can see that particularly along the highway, I think there would be a high degree of landscaping required to buffer the homes from the highway. It would dampen some of the sound there. Now, I haven't done much on the other side of the highway. I figure we'll get to that in a future episode. Actually, I'm seeing a little bit of some areas that are a little bereft of landscaping, so maybe I'll just do a little bit more, but not a ton. I think that we're in a significantly better spot than we were at the start of this little bee episode. And truthfully, I know that time-lapse can get old. So I don't want to keep subjecting you guys to more and more time-lapsing, but I also don't want to just jibber-jabber over the top of placing a bunch of trees. So I think this is probably where I'm going to leave it. Let me take a look at the city and see how it's looking today. I think adding the trees heightens the realism of the area, and making sure that you're not just plopping one tree makes it look a lot nicer. And you can see that now there's a nice tree canopy. Maybe this is a tree city now that we have all of these trees planted. And there's still more that we could do to fill it in, but I think it's in a much better spot. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your patience with me as I correct some of the issues from the previous episode, and I hope you enjoy these little bee episodes. Let me know if you do. They come up from time to time. I usually put them out pretty quickly, and it's to remedy issues that I've created. So thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you in the next one, where we will be back in Verde Beach once more. Take care. If you haven't liked, if you like this video, please consider liking it. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you want to be notified when I release new videos, hit that notification bell as well. Thank you so much. Bye.